What is up? How's it going? Welcome into the Sactown Sports Kings recap show. Whoa, Bessie, I'm just now realizing, don't look at that score. That is completely reversed and flipped. 96-132. The Sacramento Kings lose to the Dallas Mavericks. And I don't know, pick your word. Embarrassing, unacceptable, humiliating, dominating. There's a lot of words that you can pick for how tonight's game went, but you would not describe it as good for the Sacramento Kings. It was absolutely terrible on a night where, frankly, you could say the Kings really needed to deliver their best game of the season so far. They delivered one of their worst performances of this entire year. So, it's pretty disappointing. Tonight had a lot of, there you go, as I fixed the score there. Tonight had a lot of anticipation behind it. Obviously, tonight could have been a really good game, really big game in terms of the standings. Kings could have made a real push towards not just the 5 seed, but the 4 seed as well, as the Pelicans lost today, and the Clippers have kind of been reeling a bit. But with the loss today, honestly, I don't want to be too doom and gloom, but frankly, this is a really, really big blow for this Kings team. This now means that at best, the Kings can win on Friday and even up their not the season series, because if they win on Friday, they'll actually win the season series. But it does make pretty much a stalemate from these two games, and Dallas just has a much easier remaining strength of schedule. So the Kings have really not done themselves any favors by losing tonight, and that's been the theme of all season long, man, is this team just continues to put itself in good situations and then almost immediately tank it and immediately put themselves in a situation where it's tough to come back from. So, it's unfortunate that, again, it comes on a night where it kind of feels like the Kings need their best performance of the season, and then to come out and give them their worst. It's not great. It's not great at all. So, it's disappointing, but really it's been the story of the entire season. So it doesn't make it feel any better, but honestly, this is the team that they've been. This is the team that these guys have been all year long. Even though they have beaten really good teams this year, again, it just feels like even the past 2 seasons, if you want to take this thing all the way back to last year when the Kings had opportunities at home against Minnesota and against San Antonio to clinch a playoff spot, couldn't get it done. It's not a great sign for this team. I don't want to be too doom and gloom, but again, this is just a really, really big opportunity that this team completely wasted. And not only did they waste, but it's the manner at which it happened. To lose tonight by 36 points is embarrassing. To not give yourself a single chance at winning tonight's game is just incredibly disappointing. And you can point to a ton of things. I mean, it's not great that Dallas shoots. I don't even know what they finished. They finished 56% from 3. You're not going to win a lot of games when the opposing team shoots 56%. I think the Kings had a bit of a hand in that for sure. We've seen them play their best defense all season long these past 10 games. We've seen that 3-point number go significantly down here recently, and tonight its ugly little head reared its head around, and it could not have come at a worse time. This team has been really, really good at defending in general, but that 3-point number was tops in the league for a lot of this season, and just recently came down from the number 1 spot. And what do they do but go right back to allowing 100 points, allowing right back to ridiculous percentages from 3. It's tough, because if you do the math, I think Dallas 22 to 11. So that's 33-point advantage. That's pretty much the game. Again, Kings lose by 36 points. Dallas had 33 more points than the Kings did from beyond the arc. It's as simple as that. If Dallas doesn't shoot the lights out, this game's a lot closer. You can't really expect a team to make 11 less threes than they hit on a night, but if you're looking at the reason why this one got out of hand, it's because the Kings let Dallas get out of hand from the perimeter. So, It's unfortunate that something that we've seen be a problem for this team all season long looked like they kind of fixed that big problem, just for it to end up coming back around and hurting you. It's a little poetic. It's a little perfect for this Kings team. Hopefully, it's not reminiscent of last year. And I talk about the TNT game where the Kings played against the New York Knicks, and we kind of found out offensive rebounds were going to be a problem. Hopefully, this is not a sign that come playoff time, all the defense is just going to be thrown out the window. Hopefully, this is an anomaly. Hopefully, come Friday, these guys will treat this like an actual playoff series. And, you got to adjust. I think that's the biggest thing is you have to figure out what you're going to do differently, because if you try and roll out the same game plan again on Friday, you're probably going to get a pretty similar result. Again, I don't think Luka's going to shoot the lights out like he did tonight, but, you're not going to if at the end of the day, if you can't stop Luka and Kyrie, which I think was the biggest problem for the Kings tonight, is Luka went crazy in that first quarter, had a pretty solid end of the half, and didn't really do much in the second half. But where he left off, Kyrie Irving took that and took it even further. He was incredible in that second half, and that's exactly what the Kings couldn't have. They couldn't have those two guys be exactly what they've been for this Dallas team all season long, and that's their saviors. So it's unfortunate that they couldn't slow those guys down, because everybody knew going into tonight, Luka and Kyrie were going to be the ones that make the difference for Dallas. And really, the sad thing is on the Kings front, I'm incredibly disappointed that they didn't attack Luka on the defensive end. He was clearly hobbled out there. He was on the injury report with an Achilles injury before tonight's game. I thought the Kings were just going to put him in actions over and over and over and make sure he's running nonstop on the defensive end. They just didn't do it. They really did not attack that mismatch all night long. They allowed Luka to hide in the corner on defense, which is just not something you can have. You can't have Luka Doncic, a guy who's so heavily used on the offensive end, just essentially take breaks on the defensive end. You've got to get him moving. Keegan Murray's got to be more aggressive on the offensive end. It was just all around a really poorly executed game, and the Kings really didn't play well enough to win this one. So I think they definitely deserve this result. Let's see what you guys are saying out here in the chat. Shout out, saw a couple of people in here pretty early. Yeah, got our butts spanked tonight. I mean, this one was over after that third quarter, really. Yeah, Dallas outscored the Kings by 15, 38-23 in that third quarter. To me, that was really the difference. Kings did a good job of kind of hanging in, I would say, for that first half. It kind of felt like they were holding on to a thread. Dallas was shooting the lights out. The Kings were doing a good job of hitting their shots, but for the most part, if you're not going to get stops on the defensive end, you're not going to win. And I think that was the biggest problem that I saw from the start of the game, is you saw Luka just be able to get to whatever spots he wanted. You saw in the second half Kyrie get to whatever spots he wanted. The Kings never slowed either of those guys down. And then once they got going, it allowed Tim Hardaway to start feeling himself. He hit a ton of threes. Derek Lively, I thought, did a really good job of just being big. He disrupted Sabonis a ton. I didn't think Sabonis was going to have any issue with either of these Dallas centers. And Sabonis he did a pretty good job of getting Gafford in foul trouble. I think he had 4 fouls in about 15 minutes. Yeah, Gafford had, let me see here. Gafford had 4 fouls in, 15 minutes. So Sabonis did a good job of just kind of running through him, but Derek Lively clearly read his scouting report. He understood, stay on the ground, man. Don't get Sabonis to get you in the air. Sabonis got him pretty bad one time on an up and under, got undercut pretty bad. And then after that, you just saw Lively hold his ground. Lively's a much taller guy than Sabonis, much more length that Sabonis has. And so he was really able to just kind of crowd all his space and make it really tough for him. Sabonis still got a double-double, as he does every single night, but just wasn't really prolific. And again, on a night where the Dallas Mavericks stars really showed out, the Kings stars were a bit muted, and that not only goes to the Kings stars, but also Malik Monk who's now put together 3 really, really tough performances in a row at a pretty unfortunate time, man. I mean, they've been able to survive a couple of these games. Keon Ellis had a big game against Orlando. Davion Mitchell had a big game the other night here. But they cannot survive many more games without Malik Monk looking like the Malik Monk that we've seen all season long. We know how he provides not only just a scoring spark, but also will provide a lot in the assist department tonight. Let's see here. Malik had 3 assists and 3 turnovers in I believe at the end of the game. I just have the third quarter box score. Let me look at what the final box says. 3 assists, 3 turnovers from Malik tonight. So he really didn't provide either of the things that you're looking for him on the offensive end. He finishes with a minus 22. Just wasn't good enough. I mean, and not just him, but really everybody tonight. I thought you could have used just a little bit more out of everybody. And I think when that's the case, you see your team lose by 36. Yeah, you definitely saw Dallas clog the paint there. They ran a zone for a good majority of that third quarter, which is what threw the Kings off completely. Mike Brown's talked about endlessly really here recently about the spray threes. Keeps talking about how the Kings are trying to reach 20 spray threes in a game. And tonight, I wasn't keeping track of how many they took. I guarantee it was less than 20. But they just had to get into the paint. And, I've talked about it before earlier in the season, but they never established the rim attacks first. They were just trying to get feet in the paint so that they could kick it out. That doesn't work. It maybe works for the first quarter for a couple times, but teams will catch on if you're not legitimately trying to attack the rim. And I just don't think the Kings were aggressive enough looking for shots at the rim tonight. Settled a lot from beyond the arc. Actually, by the looks of it, I mean, you look at the final, Kings shoot 37% from 3. Doesn't end up looking that bad, but really, when Dallas was shooting at the pace that they were shooting at, it was really evident that the Kings did not have the necessary firepower tonight to get the job done. Yeah, the endless moving seeding here. Let me see. The Kings now, I know they move 1 below Dallas. I believe they'll still be in the 7 seed. They're still in the 7 seed tied with the Phoenix Suns. But that'll be interesting, as I believe Phoenix plays tomorrow. And the Kings, of course, don't play until Friday. This very same Dallas Mavericks team, who now sits a game ahead of the Sacramento Kings in the standings. They're now firmly in that 6th seed again. Friday will pretty much be to even that out. The Kings will still win the season series. They'll be up 3-1 if they win on Saturday, on Friday. But if they lose, if we see exactly what we saw tonight again, and the Kings lose on Friday to this Dallas team, I mean, you can pretty much kiss the 6th seed away, and you can pretty much say hello play-in tournament, because the Kings pretty much don't have a chance if they lose on Friday. There'll be 2 games back of Dallas, who will have that 6th seed. I believe at that point the Kings and the Mavericks will have conference record will determine who gets that tiebreaker in that scenario. I believe the Kings technically have that advantage, but it's just a much, much tougher road down the stretch here if the Kings can at least split this thing on Friday. So, you gotta move on to the next one. You dwell on this for tonight. Thankfully, you have Wednesday, Thursday off as well, and then Friday you just gotta hop right back on that horse and get ready, because no one's gonna feel bad for you. You don't have time to dwell. Kings have a brutal strength of schedule the rest of this way, so they can't get too down on themselves. They can't feel like their season's over yet, because if they feel that way, well, then it's just going to come true, because they have way too many good opponents left on their schedule to just sleepwalk the rest of this way. They're going to have to pick themselves up. They're going to have to go back to the form that they were just at, and what's going to make Friday so crucial is, can you return to the team that we just saw? It's okay. You just played 9 to 10 straight games of some of the best basketball we've seen all season. At the end of the day, it might not be that big of a deal that you had a one-game blip where you stepped away from it. Of course, it's a really important game. Of course, you would like for it to not happen. But if at the end of the day the Kings return to form on Friday, I think in the long run, it's okay. Especially if they get that win. The thing is, you just don't want this thing to snowball, especially, again, with the Kings' strength of schedule the rest of this way. If you're feeling down about yourself, if you're feeling like this season is over for you and you're just not going to meet expectations, so what's the point of even trying? Things are going to get really bad before they even get even remotely better. So I feel like this team is going to pick themselves up. They're not really ones to pity themselves too much, but you lose 36 in a game where everybody's acknowledging you got to have it. It's on national TV. It's going to be a bit of a blow to the ego. What is this about, Dwayne? How can we blame this on Kevin Huerter? What are you talking about? I don't even know. Like, are you trying to win an argument? I don't get what you're saying here. Okay. This is the thing to focus on. Yeah, for sure. Let's point fingers. That's great. Yeah, 20 chocolate kisses will do it on a night like tonight. Definitely just kind of want to melt into the couch a little bit, and shout out everyone who sat through the entirety of this game, who saw Mason Jones have a couple threes at the end of that. I definitely, if I were a fan, I would have turned tonight off pretty early. Might have been a mid fourth, maybe early fourth turn off for me. Yeah, turnovers got sloppy. Sabonis kind of started it in the first quarter. De'Aaron had a couple really bad turnovers. Malik Monk today was just, oh my God, just throwing the ball all over the place. He had like a full court over like a football pass to Davion that he got upset at Davion for not catching. Just was kind of out of control today. And I don't know what it's been, but yeah, these past couple games, Malik Monk has just not been himself. Let me see if I can pin it down here, these game logs. These last couple games, Malik, 0, 11, and then tonight, what did he end with tonight? Tonight he ends with a 0, 11, and 10 from Malik these last three games. Not ideal, definitely not ideal. Thankfully, the Kings were able to get 2 of those wins, but tonight you didn't have a big night out of Davion, didn't have a big night out of Keon Ellis. They really, really, really could have used a big night out of Malik Monk. Yeah. I thought Luka looked hurt, especially in the first half. There was it might have just been early in the game when I was really looking for it, but there was a moment where he kind of sprinted down half court, down full court, and kind of looked like he was Naruto running a little bit. Like, just kind of seemed like it was like a Naruto waddle almost. He like had his hands behind his back, but like was kind of waddling a bit. So I don't know what that was about, but to me it looked like he was hurt. He was at least limping. At the very least, he was limping. Yeah, he had a nasty step back on Keegan. He had a couple nasty step backs on Keegan and HB that were just dots. Yeah, Sabonis fell in love with that pump fake way too much tonight. I just thought he wasn't assertive enough. There was a couple times where he got lively up in the air and tried to draw fouls. It just was not a good Sabonis night. I'm not going to do 3 stars of the night tonight either, just because, frankly, I looked at the box score and I can't find 3 people, guys. I really can't. I mean, as you can see in my graphic, I got Kyrie and Luka in there. I just don't think anybody did anything that was really worthy of acknowledgement tonight. I thought De'Aaron was okay. I thought Keegan was okay, but definitely had a lot of bad moments. And Kyrie and Luka were definitely the 2 best players on the floor today. I don't like how when Luka was out, we wouldn't blitz Kyrie, and we played ISO, and he ate. Players fumbled, but coaching wasn't all there either. Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely give Mike Brown some grief today, and just the coaching staff in general. It didn't seem like they had a great plan for how they were going to slow down Kyrie and Luka. Definitely they blitzed Luka a lot more than I personally like to. I think Luka is kind of in that Jokic, LeBron category of, if you're going to send 2 at them, they're going to find the open guy 10 out of 10 times. So I just don't think it's worth doubling a guy like Luka. But Kyrie definitely. Kyrie was killing him. You just got to get the ball out of his hands, especially when Luka's not on the floor. I don't have any problem blitzing Kyrie, but I don't love blitzing Luka at all. Dude, there were so many Kings fans. There was a Kings fan that straight up got like an Instagram video or something like that. He was chirping at Luka. Luka full turned around on an inbounds pass, said something to him, and threw the pass in. So yeah, Luka was definitely talking with a lot of Kings fans tonight. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like, definitely Dallas gave the Kings a really good punch tonight. I would say tonight's probably as close to Dallas's A game as you're going to get. Shooting damn near 60% from three, that's pretty crazy. But at the same time, I kind of think that the Kings could have won today. I definitely think that there was a world where the Kings shut off that Luka Fawcett a little earlier, shut off Kyrie Irving a little bit earlier, make Derek Lively do some things, let Sabonis should have actually gone to work in the paint. De'Aaron as well. I thought De'Aaron settled for a lot of jumpers tonight. I kind of feel like there's a world where tonight could have gone a whole lot better for the Kings. Yeah. I wouldn't be quite there yet. Friday is still a really big game. I definitely would not sell my tickets yet. There's still a really good chance that, as we've seen from this team, they play their worst game of the season and then follow it up with one of their best. So I wouldn't be surprised if they turn this thing around on Friday and look like literally a completely different team. Let's see here. That's right. It's Hello Kitty night, too. It's Hello Kitty night. You're not going to want to miss that. So there you go. And, yeah, G-Man mentioned this in the pregame, so anybody who listened to the great Gary Gerald on Sactown Sports airwaves definitely probably heard him preview this. But Kings played 5 games in 7 nights. I'm not a huge person in saying, 3 games in 4 nights. Obviously, this was a back-to-back. I think everybody has tough stretches throughout the season, but 5 games in 7 nights is pretty crazy, especially when you consider the competition. Philly, it wasn't good competition, but even still, I think 5 games in 7 nights is still tough for anybody. That's a lot of wear and tear on your body for game 72 or game 71 of the season. It's a little bit late in the year. And also we were talking on Media Row today, why couldn't this game be tomorrow? Can somebody explain to me why both of these teams are coming off of a back-to-back? Both of them will not be playing till Friday, and yet they had to play on Tuesday and not Wednesday just so that they can get the TNT game in? Is that why? I seriously think that's the only reason why this game was played on Tuesday and not on Wednesday, was solely so that this could be on TNT. And obviously the Kings, they would much rather prefer this game not to be shown in front of the entire nation. So it's a little bit of a scheduling quirk, but there's no logical reason why this game was played today. It absolutely could have been played tomorrow. Both teams would have been on full rest, and I just think it would have gone better. I think then, the Kings wouldn't have this 5 games in 7 nights, which is just absolutely absurd. Yeah, and this is what's so exciting about these little 2-game series is you do get to see it truly be like a playoff series. So, I am more than willing to hear everybody on this chat come in here and slander Mike Brown. If the Kings do the same exact thing on Friday and they look like the same team on Friday and they do the same exact defenses and they guard Luka and Kyrie the same way and they go off in the same manner, I got no defense for him, because this is really like a mini playoff series. And in the playoffs, you're supposed to, game 1 is always just a feeling out period. Game 2, you're supposed to have a little bit more adjustments. By game 3, it should be a brand new series. It should just be all adjustments, and you're pretty much playing a brand new game where you're taking away exactly what the other team wants to do the most. We'll see. We'll see how the Kings adjust. I think Mike Brown definitely has the coaching advantage in this series, if you will. Jason Kidd isn't one of the best coaches out there. I definitely think I trust Mike Brown and his staff a lot more to get the proper adjustments done, and at the very least, they're going to make this thing competitive on Friday. I can't see any way that this is going to be a nice little sweet film session for the Kings. I definitely think they're going to come out with their heads on fire on Friday, probably like they should have today. There's really no excuse for them not coming out with the proper energy today or the proper sense of urgency. It really felt like by that third quarter, they were just completely dead. And you know what? Yeah, I would say, there was booing. There was definitely some booing on the Kings fan side of things. UNC didn't turn. They did. They booed. They booed. It might have been in the fourth quarter. I kind of feel like it was the third, but it might have been the fourth quarter. But again, it was deserved. I definitely thought it was deserved. They were playing like trash again in the most important point in the season. So I definitely think that they deserve to get booed. I don't believe Adam Silver was at the game tonight. Yeah, I did see a couple people talking about the announcers not being great. Yeah, no shock that they suck. Yeah, and then there was the fact that I know a lot of people didn't even get to watch the first quarter because Lakers and Milwaukee went 2 overtimes, almost went 3. So you probably missed the best that the Kings played all day. It wasn't great. Again, Luka went absolutely nuclear in the first quarter, but it was definitely an interesting night and definitely one that I think everybody is collectively going to want to forget, just because it was just the most forgettable night. I mean, this seriously, I think was the worst performance that the Kings have had all season long. All right, I'm gonna head on out of here. Like I said, want to wrap this one up early. Wasn't really the most inspiring performance of the year, and again, just doesn't really feel like a night where the Kings even had 3 stars to really even shout out. So, gonna get going on my night here. Shout out to everyone who hopped in the stream today. Tons of viewers. Love to see that. Appreciate every single one of you, and hope that you guys join me on Friday after the Sacramento Kings take on the Dallas Mavericks. You can also check me out all this week, Monday through Friday, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Styles and Watkins right here on Sactown Sports 1140. I will see y'all either tomorrow or Thursday or Friday after the game. You can also join Alan Styles on Thursday for his Off Nights, which is a digital exclusive show here on YouTube where Alan, my co-host Alan Styles, breaks down all that is happening in the kingdom. He'll have a lot to say about what just happened there. So y'all have a fantastic night. Hope you can shake this one off, and hopefully it doesn't ruin your night too much. Because man, that one was an all-time stinker, man. That really was a really, really big letdown in what should have been one of the funnest nights here of this season. Unfortunately, the Kings fall to Dallas Mavericks by 36 points. As I'm about to fall to the floor, 96-132. Luka Doncic, big game, 28 points, 11 boards, 8 assists. Kyrie Irving, 24 points, 8 assists, and really just dominated that second half for myself and for that crappy performance. My name is Chris Watkins. Y'all have a good one.